Justine Wilson left Elon Musk's life the same way he walked into the future, fast, cold, and unstoppable. Their divorce happened when she realized the man she married no longer existed. How the world's most ambitious man become impossible to love. In early 1990s Ontario, at Queen's University, Justine Wilson was an 18-year-old English literature student with dreams of becoming a fantasy novelist. She had a black belt in Taekwondo and quiet confidence. When skinny, awkward Elon Musk suggested ice cream, she declined. But hours later, he showed up at her dorm with 2 melting ice cream cones, refusing to accept no. Years later, Justine remembered that moment as sweet, not realizing it was a preview of what was coming. They dated through university. When Elon transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, the distance should have ended things. But he called exactly 1 week after she told her sister she'd reconsider if he reached out. After graduation, she taught in Japan while Elon moved to Silicon Valley. In 1999, everything changed when Elon sold Zip2 for $37 million. Overnight, he became a multi-millionaire, buying an 18,800 square foot condo, a McLaren F1, and a plane. In late 1999, they got engaged. Then Elon arranged a meeting with a lawyer for what he said was a financial agreement his company's board wanted. When she hesitated, he clarified it wasn't a prenup, technically true since it was postnuptial. Justine trusted him completely and signed without careful review. That decision would haunt her forever. At their January 2000 wedding reception, while dancing, Elon whispered, "I am the alpha in this relationship." Justine laughed it off as awkward phrasing. But it wasn't a joke, it was a declaration. He didn't see them as partners, but as a hierarchy with him at the top. 2 years later, their first child, Nevada, was born. For 10 perfect weeks, their world expanded. Then, without warning, Nevada stopped breathing. Their baby was gone. Most marriages don't survive losing a child. For them, it drove them apart. She grieved openly. Want to talk about Nevada? Elon refused, compartmentalizing his emotions. "We can either wallow in sadness or move forward," he reportedly said. To Justine, it felt like their son had been deleted from Elon's operating system. Despite their loss, they had more children. In 2004, twins Griffin and Xavier arrived. In 2006, triplets Kai, Saxon, and Damien. 5 children total. But Justine felt increasingly invisible, describing herself as becoming Elon's trophy wife. She was a published author, Blood Angel in 2005, Uninvited in 2007, with her own career and dreams. But Elon's world expanded so rapidly that everything got sucked into his gravitational field. He constantly criticized her weight, appearance, and decisions. When she protested, "I am your wife, not your employee," he'd respond. "If you were my employee, I would fire you." He said this repeatedly, not in anger, but as obvious logic. During those years, Elon built Tesla and SpaceX simultaneously. Tesla hemorrhaged money, constantly near bankruptcy. SpaceX had failed 3 launches. His attention wasn't divided between work and family. There was only work with brief family interruptions. Then came the car accident. In spring 2008, another car hit Justine's. No one was hurt, but her first thought was, "My husband is going to kill me." That realization shattered something. She saw herself clearly, very thin, very blonde, because Elon pressured her to go platinum, though she'd been brunette when they met. She'd become someone unrecognizable. They attended couples therapy. When a therapist asked, "Do you even see what she needs?" Elon responded bluntly, "If she has a problem with the way I am, she knows where the door is." Weeks later, using the therapist as messenger, Elon filed for divorce. 6 weeks after that, Justine received a text. Elon was engaged to British actress Tallulah Riley, whom he'd met at a London nightclub. Riley was 22 when she met 37-year-old Elon in 2008. He seemed sweet and shy, asking permission before placing his hand on her knee. 10 days later, he proposed. She laughed until realizing he wasn't joking. By 2010, they married in a lavish ceremony at Dornoch Cathedral in Scotland. but lasted only 2 years. In January 2012, Elon announced their divorce on Twitter. Riley received $4.2 million per their prenuptial agreement. Then things got weird. 18 months later, in July 2013, they remarried. Riley explained it felt silly to be. Their relationship deteriorated into legal warfare over custody in September 2023. California has no child support cap, but Texas limits it to $2,760 monthly for 3 children, an astronomical difference for someone worth over $300 billion. Grimes's mother publicly begged Elon to return the children's passports so they could visit their 93-year-old great-grandmother in palliative care. She died without that meeting. Then there's Vivian Jenna Wilson, born Xavier Alexander Musk in 2004, one of the twins from Elon's marriage to Justine. In 2020, she came out as transgender and immediately cut contact with Elon, adopting her mother's maiden name and erasing Musk from her identity. Elon learned about her transition from his biographer Walter Isaacson, not from Vivian. He didn't accept it, claiming he'd been tricked into signing documents authorizing puberty blockers. In her first NBC interview, Vivian called him cold, quick to anger, uncaring, and narcissistic, present maybe 10% of her childhood. By 2025, she appeared on Teen Vogue's cover, moved to Japan to study, returned to pursue modeling, and signed with CAA. Everyone close to Elon describes the same experience: emotionally unavailable. When someone needs connection, he offers solutions. When they need presence, he's solving the next problem. Justine felt like a fireable employee. Riley described surviving a storm. Grimes watched him become unrecognizable. Vivian experienced him as cold and narcissistic. The tragedy? Elon repeatedly says he can't be happy unless he's in love. In a 2017 Rolling Stone profile, he admitted loneliness terrifies him more than anything. But the drive, making him revolutionary, makes him emotionally unreachable. He's built rockets that land themselves, electric cars that changed industries, satellites providing global internet. Yet he can't stay married or maintain relationships with his children. Today, Elon has at least 14 children with multiple women. With Justine, 5 living sons plus Nevada. With Grimes, 3 children. With Cher Von Zielis, 3, including twins. In February 2025, conservative influencer Ashley St. Clair revealed she'd had a son named Romulus with Musk 5 months earlier. Children often born weeks apart, announced through leaked court documents rather than celebrations. Meanwhile, Justine reclaimed her identity as a writer, publishing multiple fantasy novels. Riley published Acts of Love and The Quickening, and speaks warmly of Elon while acknowledging loving someone doesn't mean surviving being with them. Grimes rebuilds her music career, her pain becoming art. Vivian models, studies Japanese, considers streaming or reality TV, and openly discusses trans rights, having zero interest in her father's world. What's the lesson? Genius in one domain doesn't mean wisdom in another. Work ethic isn't love. You can engineer physics solutions, but not human hearts. Ambition can change the world while destroying relationships that make life worth living. Justine asked the haunting question, "Do you even see me anymore?" Across 3 relationships, multiple divorces, and 14 children, the answer seems to be no. He doesn't see them. He sees the mission, the next rocket, the next factory, the next impossible problem. Everyone else becomes background noise in a mind already 5 years ahead.